News Alert.
Good morning, I'm Nadine Yanis. We're following breaking news right now in Orange County, where Orlando police have confirmed there's been a shooting in downtown Orlando at the Pulse nightclub. That's on Orange Avenue and Cayley Avenue. Right now, we're hearing reports that several people were hurt. Let's get right out to News 6's Eric Sandoval with the latest. Eric, tell me, what are you seeing out there?
Well, Nadine, I want to give you a little perspective about where we are. A bus is blocking our view right now, but we are immediately across the street from the emergency room here at Orlando Regional Medical Center, right along Orange Avenue. And I want you to see what is going on behind me. This is looking south on Orange Avenue. You can see a very heavy police presence here right now. This is all outside the Pulse nightclub. Whoa, and we just heard a loud boom coming from just south of our location here. We don't know what that boom was, but I think you saw everybody react. We don't know what that was right now. I'll tell you what, we want to work on what's going on right now, but I want to tell you, this is a very intense situation right now. There is still a gunman on the loose right now. Orlando police is giving us very tiny updates via Twitter. They were planning a news conference just about half an hour ago. They had to cancel that because of the massive search. There's more police going down Orange Avenue right now. I'll tell you what, we want to figure out what exactly is happening right now. We want to get on the horn with OPD and figure out what's happening. But let me just tell you, there is a gunman on the loose here in the area of Orange Avenue, Cayley Avenue, Miller Avenue, Gore Avenue. This immediate area is shut down right now. OPD says if you don't have to come to this area, please don't, because it's a very, very dangerous situation.
We know that Orlando police about an hour ago did confirm that there was a shooting at Pulse Orlando nightclub. They said that they were going to give us an update at 4:30. Eric Sandoval was there, was ready for that update, but then police said they scratched that news conference, that they still needed to gather information. They're saying this is a very fluid scene, that they're working to get us an update, and of course that's what we're going to try to do, stay on top of it. They have said that they want everyone out of the area as they're working this.
Again, the update that I have right now is they're about to remove some of the people who were inside that nightclub who were either shot or hurt in some other way. We don't know if there are any fatalities at this point, but we do know that several people were shot inside this nightclub. We can only assume that there were emergency personnel inside the nightclub attending to their injuries in the meantime before they're actually brought out. We understand that all of them are going to be brought right across the street from us to the emergency room here at Orlando Regional Medical Center. But again, I'm going to repeat what Orlando police have told us all morning long here, and that is if you don't have to be in the southern downtown area, we're talking ORMC area, the south of downtown area of Orlando. If you don't have to be in this area, please stay away. There is an active gunman who is on the scene, who is on the loose right now. They're trying to find out whoever did. We just heard several rounds of gunfire. We just heard several gunshots fired. We don't know if that was a shootout, if they found who they were looking for. I'm looking up in the sky for any indication from Orange County Sheriff's helicopter. The helicopter's hovering over one specific area. I don't know if that means they found this gunman, but again, we just heard a massive round of gunfire here.
We can't get a hold of my son at all. So I don't know where he is. I don't know if he's injured and being worked on, but they won't let us know. They're not letting us know any names of anybody.
What can you tell us about what happened?
Well, I could tell you that my son was in there with his boyfriend and two other friends, and the two friends went to the bathroom, and when they went to the bathroom, they heard about 20 shots, and then they recognized it as being a shooter, so they took off running, and while they were waiting outside the club, they saw Juan, who is my son's boyfriend. They saw him being transported into an ambulance with multiple gunshots, but my son hasn't been heard from, so I don't know if he was left in the club, if he got shot, or if he's being worked on here. I don't know.
How scared are you not knowing?
It's terrible. He's my only child. He's 32. He's a good kid. has a graduate degree in clinical psychology.
As these ambulances are dropping off patients, they're turning right back around, going right back down Orange Avenue, picking up more victims and bringing them right back here to the emergency room. You can see City of Orlando ambulances now pulling out, heading right back down Orange Avenue, just as another Orange County Fire Rescue ambulance is taking another victim. We understand that there were many, many people who were shot inside that nightclub. Mike DeForest just talked to a mother across the street who came from Polk County, who was just desperate to find out how her son was and his boyfriend. They were both inside that nightclub at the time. She hasn't heard anything from them. We're still working to get more details from OPD, but right now, let me just summarize exactly what we know. There was a mass shooting at the Pulse nightclub, a predominantly gay nightclub, which is in the southern district of downtown Orlando, just as the bar was closing, about 2:30, 3 o'clock this morning. About 45 minutes ago, we heard a controlled boom, a controlled explosion. The mother that we talked to indicated that her son told her in the few communications that she'd had with him that somebody said there was a bomb inside. We can only assume right now that that was a controlled concussion designed to alleviate any problem of any bomb inside. And in a live shot that I was bringing to you just about 35 minutes ago, we heard a barrage of gunfire erupt from around the Pulse nightclub. We still don't know what that barrage of gunfire was.
This is our Sky 6 video. You're taking a look over the Pulse Orlando nightclub. It's near that area. You can see ambulances rushing down. You can also see several blocks are shut down right now in downtown Orlando after this shooting. Look at this. Several police agencies and cars there right now. Dave, what are we looking at right now from Sky 6?
Well, right now we're looking at Orange Avenue completely shut down. As you can see, it's inundated with police and response vehicles. And just looking out of my window, it's very hard to explain. It's just red and blue lights all over this neighborhood. As you can see, it just stretches for blocks, and this whole area is cordoned off. On surface streets, on the regular streets, on little alleyways, you have police officers and first responders everywhere around the scene. We did just arrive not too long ago, so I'm trying to get a little bit of a lay of the land. But as you can see, this whole area will be closed down for quite a while.
Wow, Dave, I didn't realize how massive this scene was. You can see the entire downtown area blocked off after this shooting.
Just a little while ago, we heard from investigators on the scene.
Yeah, it was their second update of the morning. Here's a little bit of what we learned.
And it is with great sadness that I share we have not 20 but 50 casualties. In addition to the shooter, there are another 53 that are hospitalized. Because of the scale of the crime, I've asked the governor to declare a state of emergency. We're also issuing a state of emergency for the city of Orlando so that we can bring additional resources to bear to deal with the aftermath. Our focus is going to be on identifying the victims and notifying the families. We're setting up a hotline for concerned family members. There's 407-246-4357.
Dave, I want to focus back to the nightclub. I know you've been up there for hours. What kind of activity have you seen from law enforcement investigators going in and out of the nightclub? Have you seen that happening?
Oh, yes, I have seen that happening. I've seen actually a lot of it happening lately with the crime scene technicians. Earlier, it was SWAT going in and out, and they actually did 2 sweeps of the building. So you had an in and out with the SWAT teams, then you had the investigators and the detectives go in, and then you now have the crime scene technicians to go in so they can log all of the evidence that they're finding. You can actually see them in the front. I don't want to zoom in too closely to the front just because of what's in the front of the building, but you can see you have crime scene technicians, you have detectives, you have FBI pouring over this entire area. It's not just in a nightclub. They are checking the surrounding areas, the lawn in the back, the parking lot in the back, the parking lot where the suspect's vehicle was found. They are actually going over this entire area. So let me just zoom out. What you see in my picture right now is what detectives and crime scene technicians are going over. So they do have a lot of work ahead of them.
If you've been following the news over this weekend, they have been earning their pay, working hard. With just a little more than 24 hours before this nightclub shooting, the horrific shooting of The Voice star star Christina Grimmie. When that all happened, everybody was just shocked that there would be this type of a shooting in an Orlando nightclub, only to wake up the next morning to hear it happen and again in a much grander scale. 50 confirmed deaths in this shooting, another 50 or so injured at Orlando Regional Medical Center. Again, the governor vowing to provide any kind of resources that local authorities need, while meanwhile the FBI is looking at this not only nationally but potentially internationally. We do know that they have agents down in Port St. Lucie right now trying to get into the home of the suspected gunman down there, and I know we've got crews down there, so a big scene all over the country, but that's what's happening here locally. Ginger.
Yeah, Mike, you know, you've been doing this for a long time. Describe what, and put this in perspective for us. I've heard seasoned reporters say they have never experienced or seen anything like we are seeing right now in Orlando.
I think it's just surreal for so many of us. I mean, like everybody at home, we here locally see it on the news, see it happening in other places, and it's become a little bit of a cliche whenever something happens that somebody will say, well, I never thought it would actually happen here, but I think there is a bit of that sentiment.
It has been a day of developments. We're going to check in now with Troy Campbell, who is in Fort Pierce, outside the apartment complex where Omar Mateen is believed to have lived. Troy.
Ginger, it's a very active scene. You can see behind me, law enforcement has this entire street blocked off. Not long ago, I saw law enforcement in tactical gear walking in the parking lot here. This is the Woodland condos. This is 17th Street in Fort Pierce. Now, this is where it is believed Omar Mateen lived. Now, the residents who live in his building, they've been evacuated. Investigators not sure if it is safe for them, so they're taking extra precaution. Now, there's no doubt FBI agents here and also St. Lucie County sheriffs, they're looking for clues inside of his apartment for any possible motives that would, of course, include any possible evidence of communication that he may have had with others. Again, this is outside the Woodland condos in Fort Pierce, where it is believed that the suspect did in fact live. The FBI is out here. They are leading this investigation, and all of his other residents in his exact building have been evacuated. Not sure if it is safe. Law enforcement erring on the side of precaution. We also saw homeowners in this area in order to get back into their home. They are being escorted by law enforcement. So, of course, we will stay out here and continue to update you.
Some of the people that we are really thinking about right now are those who are still waiting to hear from their loved ones.
Yeah, Erica Washington, it sounds like is at the Hampton Inn. Erica, what's going on there?
I can tell you here, family members are coming here trying to find answers, hoping to find answers for their loved one. I've spoken to a number of people who come here that are looking for their sister, their brother, their cousin. They've got pictures in their phone. They want to get the word out. If you see them, to contact them. They're using social media. I'm going to step to the side just so you can see behind me that we've got a large camera. You know, the media, of course, is out here, and we want to hear from family members to see if we can help at all, help them get the message out as far as, you know, if someone has seen their loved one. But we're being very respectful, let me mind you, because this is an emotional time, as you can imagine. Many people don't want to talk, but I did manage to talk to a number of people that did want to share their story about their loved one. If we can go to that story right now. Your brother's missing, is that right?
Yes.
What's your name, sir?
Jose Honorado.
Jose, how did you find out what happened?
I was listening on the news and I wasn't concerned of if he was there. And then his wife called me around 9. She said that he hasn't gotten home, and so I started calling all his friends, and my friend told me that he was with three of his friends there, and they made it home okay, but he's missing. I don't know. They won't give me any information.
So they're not telling you anything at this point?
No, I don't know. I have my other 2 brothers waiting over there to see if they have anything.
What is this wait like for you and your family?
Well, I haven't called my parents. They made a trip to Chicago, but I haven't called them for them not to worry about right now. But
so you haven't told your parents what's going on?
No.
You know this is all over the news. So have they called and checked on you or your family?
They don't know if he was out with that, but I don't know. Then I told my mom earlier
I told her about the shooting, but I wasn't expecting that my brother was there.
Because this is such a large crime scene area and it will stay cordoned off for the better part of this day and perhaps tomorrow moving forward, we're going to talk now to Nadine Yanis, who is live in our newsroom, to tell us about some of the businesses and areas that are closed because people cannot get to them because of this investigation. Nadine.
Yeah, Ginger, we are looking at a 3D Bing map to kind of give you a perspective of this scene and how far it spans here in downtown Orlando. We're going to start with the Pulse nightclub shooting. If you see here, right on the corner of Orange and Cayley, this is what the club looks like. There's that blue canopy that the suspect's car was under, what we presume was the suspect's car being looked at. And then we think the front entrance is right here. So we believe he may have parked here and then walked all the way around. But I'm going to start zooming out. You got to bear with me as I kind of figure out exactly how big this scene was. I want you to take a look. What we know right now is that from Cayley Avenue all the way down to Grant. Let me find Grant again. Well, we just know Cayley Avenue all the way down to Grant, which is right here, is still closed at this point. We also know, I don't know if you can take a look, but we saw that video where people were actually carrying people to the hospital. Look at this. That was the walk they had to do, about 5-6 blocks all the way to the hospital right here. And we know right behind the hospital is where the family is getting together to find their loved ones.
And a lot of people haven't been able to watch coverage. We've been on since 5 o'clock this morning. Nadine Yanis started our coverage off early this morning, telling us about the horrific incidents that happened and the heroism of the folks who played a key role in rescuing and saving the people who were in that nightclub. Over 300 people in that nightclub, 50 dead, but we keep saying that it could have been so much worse. When you see that Kevlar helmet that we just showed one of the officers wearing, 9 of those officers went in. He took a shot to the head.
He did.
This is probably the most difficult day in the history of Orlando, and I want to thank all of our law enforcement professionals, our health professionals, victims, advocates, counselors who have come to the aid of our community.
We stand with the people of Orlando who have endured a terrible attack on their city.
All I heard was the bang, 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 and I just looked and the person next to me was shot.
This is probably the most difficult day in the history of Orlando.
No one can tell me where my son is.
So everyone is screaming, going out.
This was an act of terror and an act of hate.
And we will not be defined by a hateful shooter. We'll be defined how we support and love each other.
Live pictures now of a community in mourning, a vigil getting underway right now for the 50 lives lost and 53 others hurt in the Pulse nightclub's mass shooting. While the pain felt here in City Beautiful is heartbreaking and deep, we are definitely not alone. Our coverage begins with a nationwide moment of silence, beginning in just a matter of seconds for those who lost their lives too soon to violence. I'm Ginger Gadsden.
Good evening to you. I'm Eric Von Ank, and thanks for being with us on this very difficult Sunday.
And I'm Matt Austin. Now, during the silence, images of the victims, those caught in the chaos, and those who stepped up and helped. Join us and pay respect. A somber day for Orlando with a vow for quick action from the FBI to try and figure out why 29-year-old Omar Mateen would open fire at the Pulse nightclub along South Orange Avenue.
We are learning a lot more about his final moments alive from the FBI, including a call to 911 pledging his allegiance to ISIS.
Also, new information about the weaponry he used, including the guns he purchased just days before the attack. But still, why it happened and who it has impacted. For that, we have team coverage for you tonight. Investigator Erica Washington with families waiting for answers. Mike DeForest digging into this suspect's past, and Amanda Castro live at the hospital where dozens are in surgery, some in grave condition.
Let's begin, though, with News 6's Mike Holfeld near the crime scene with the latest from detectives.